So, during the summer, when we get into um, the hot, really dry months, the beekeeper wants to kind of back off a little bit. So during the summer, the bees can be um, quite easy, or it can be not nearly as fun. It depends on how much rain you are experiencing in your area and whether or not there is a continuation of plant life. I've seen some summers where we had some really wicked um, nectar dearths. When we have drought conditions, it produces a nectar dearth condition where the trees and the flowers aren't running as freely, or they're not producing in such a way that they are budding, and therefore there is not as abundant of food for the honeybees. And this can also bring on a condition called robbing. Once the bees have done a great job of building up their colonies in the spring, if there is a sort of imbalance in the hive where maybe there's too much in the way of reserves and resources, but not enough bees to protect them because the life production hasn't kept up with the storage production, then we can have a situation where a stronger colony will recognize this, and they will essentially storm that beehive. They will go in through the front. That is what the guard bee's job is, to warn the bees that are inside if there is an impending attack, so that they can get the resources, everybody out to the door. But summer is really, really a time where a lot is dependent on what's happening in nature. So if you are aware that you're in a drought condition and therefore experiencing what's called a nectar dearth, then it's really probable that you are going to need to make the decision about what to feed, where to feed, and how to do that. I talked about that in a prior chapter, or in a prior video. So summer can be an extraordinarily active feeding time. And again, be aware of robbing. If you see a robbing situation, like your beehive is getting just absolutely attacked from the front entrances, basically the only thing that you can do is throw a wet sheet over the entire hive and hope that you break the robbing behavior, and that your bees inside of the colony are adequate in population to fight off any of the bees that were able to infiltrate during the time when the robbing started. And then the other thing that bees will do in summer is just their normal chores. They're going to be, carrying out dead bees. They're going to be caring for brood, and really, really going frame by frame whenever resources are available and filling them up so that they're going to have a plan for an adequate storage during the winter months. The summer plants can be, or summer flowers that are available, the pasture and the timbers. So the pasture and the timbers that are available, there is a lot more pasture available during the summer than there are timbers. A lot of these things, people keep in their home gardens, and then a lot of them are weeds, Viper's bugle, Joe Pye weed, that sort of thing. If you have large areas where you've had a lawn and you feel like that's not productive and you really want to have a honeybee oasis, you can put in a small crop of buckwheat or sunflower or non-GMO soybeans, lavender, alfalfa, clover. All of these things will really enrich and feed the earth, and are easy to manage and are great places for your bees to enjoy an oasis during the summer. Buckwheat in particular, because it's a self-replanting kind of pasture. So it's like you plant a patch of it, and then it grows up and it flowers, and it seed drop, and then you mow it and chop it down, and you let all of that compost, and then the new ones come up and flower. And so you just have this perpetual garden of bee food. The timbers that I mention are more wild. Devil's walking stick I mentioned because it's fun. It's a big purple globe of flowers on top of a large stick. You'll see it a lot of the time by the side of the road in less managed places. I used to see it all the time in southern Maryland by my farm. And it has big thorns, really, really devil's walking stick for sure. Sumac that has the big red flowers on it, or big seedy red pods on the top, is a great timber. If you happen to see a sumac and that chunk of those red pods, just break that off and bring it to your own property. And again, on your barrier edges or the edges of the woods, that is a fantastic plant to have. You can also dry those little pods that are on the top there and put them in your smoker as a calming agent for bees, as we discussed in prior videos. So these are the plants of summer. Your garden items are certainly important there. The honeybees are going to allow you to have straight cucumbers and get a bumper crop of melons and pumpkins. So, summer is definitely a time where you can have big impact on feeding your bees in a natural way.